Hiya, folks. If you're new in town, don't be shy and just stand by. Let me explain to you how this works. Feeling bored or lonely and you need someone to watch cartoons with? Then look no further, because I'm here to play in your ear. You can listen to the podcast alone or alongside the cartoon. The choice is yours. Either way, let's get to Toon Along. How's it going, everybody? We're doing another Toon Along episode. Okay, here we go. We're going to watch Earthworm Jim. Earthworm Jim with a J. That's the one. We're going to start with Season 1, Episode 1. Sidekicked. Yeah, it's a good show. You guys ready to watch? Here we go. So get your timers ready, get your episode ready, get your bowl of popcorn, whatever you want to watch with. Doesn't matter to me. But let's just go ahead and watch some Earthworm Jim. All ready? Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, play. All right. Now we got Earthworm Jim. Peter Puppy right there. On the planet of unusually tall things, something like that. That's a cool planet. Well done. So, Kids WD. Okay, that guy's creating static. What's his name? Monkey Brain, right? Professor Monkey Brain? Monkey Forehead? It's literally, I remember this show having the most obvious character names, really generic but funny, poking fun at superheroes, poking fun at, I'm trying to think what these guys would have been influenced by, right? It's got a bit of a Simpsons look. I mean, that's Dan Castellana, sorry, bud. No. That's the voice of Homer Simpson right there. And I don't know why, but I want to say Rob Paulsen is the dog. I don't know. I feel like Rob Paulsen's in everything, to be honest with you. The legend, along with this guy, Dan Castellaneta. Homer Simpson, the living legend, still living, still doing The Simpsons after all these years. If ever they did a reboot, you know what? They do need to make a reboot of Earthworm Jim. I feel like it's only a matter of time. They're going to nail, you know what they're going to do? They're going to do a reboot of all the mainstream retro nostalgia. And then they're going to start digging deep into what else they can find. What else is on the menu? And Earthworm Jim, I think, I think they're batting second or third as far as specials come and go. Well, they were supposed to make a game, right, for the PSP. I remember seeing earlier footage of that on the old TV shows when they used to be on TV. The video game review shows used to be on TV, like Electric Playground and 4G TV and all those guys. But anyways, Earthworm Jim, the cartoon. Yeah, this show, okay, for myself, I think this show played on, I think it would have only been Warner Brothers, or ABC Saturday mornings. Somewhere in there, somebody picked it up, maybe even YTV. I think YTV might have had it for a while, maybe a year or two. Earthworm Jim. But yeah, so this show, I'm trying to think if anybody knows out there how long this show played on the air, from what year to what year. I'm guessing, I should probably look this up. I'm guessing it's between 95. It's a Super Nintendo game, right? I mean, they made the game and then they made the show, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of those opposites where the TV show came after the game, I believe. Let's check this out. So this episode's Sidekicked. And I guess Jim is trying to find his sidekick, and Peter Puppy hasn't developed his powers yet or something. Great then! In Planet Insectica, there's Psychro. Oh yeah, that's right. Remember the Queen had a really long name? Queen Pulsating Slug Filled something for a butt. A really unique, not a unique design for a bad guy, like a hive queen. Most video games, it's been done before, right? But I feel like these guys are right in the pinnacle of it, right with gargoyles. I mean, gargoyles might be cliche today if you made it today, right? With the way the world has formed itself today. I don't know if this kind of shows would be made. Same with Earthworm Jim. Earthworm Jim is wacky and kooky. They don't want to go too far on the wacky these days, I feel. Like you watch, they got those kids shows today. you know, and I feel it's just so simple. They make it like a simple recipe, and they stick with it. It works. But these guys here, like Earthworm Jim, all these great shows from the '90s, I feel go way out, push the boundaries, go way out of the box, and you get such a unique show like this. I mean, the video game was probably so wacky for its time that they decided to make a show. I'm wondering how quickly they made the show right after the game, kind of thing. Because there's Earthworm Jim 1 and 2. So if 2 came out, it means 1 really had an impact, especially for a game like this. This is a nobody game for its time, right? Earthworm Jim comes out. There's nothing else like it. And I know there's a comic book, but I think it's all based off the game. Let's check this out. So the game comes out in 94, and the show comes out maybe alongside the game. Is that what happened? Huh. Look at that pile of trash. Reeking garbage. I like how he pulls out that spaceship every time, and he's able to get out. Where was it? Defies the laws of physics. Even a planet like that. Just wacky. Out there. He's going to the Sidekick store. And I think Dan Castellaneta voiced many characters. It's pretty obvious. Like, you can tell when he does his other characters. Same like he does in The Simpsons. I feel like sometimes you can hear some of The Simpsons characters. The whooping cough. What a great sidekick. I'd like to have him on my team. W's for winner. Mr. Forehead Vein. This has some tick. This has a little bit of tick to it. You know, when you watch this, watch an episode of Tick right after. Maybe a more wacky. Tick is a little slower. I find more slower paced, more for mature audience. Not that this isn't, but I feel like Tick is more for an older age group, based off of comics. So the story's more deep, right? But this is just wacky, and some of the characters resemble the Tick characters. And I think the Tick came after, right? So who knows? Maybe the Tick got influenced by Earthworm Jim. Oh, what's going to happen? So the sales guy's trying to sell him a sidekick. Oh, the voice of Scarecrow. I'm curious to see who the voice of that is. I'm thinking it sounds like the same voice as Pete from no, it's not. No, now I know who it sounds like. It sounds like the guy from Tick, actually the Tick, the diver, the sewer man or whatever his name is, who always says what's his line? He always has that line. I'm drawing a blank. Damn it. I forget his name and I forgot his line. Oh yeah, he used to always say, "Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, definitely." I don't know. I can't believe I forgot that quote. But look at Earthworm Jim. Just a perfect superhero. It's a worm in a spacesuit that fell from space. The entire show is wacky. It's groovy, right? Even one of his sayings, groovy. So he's testing out A Shadow. All the sidekicks are pretty lame. Yeah, this is something I would feel like I would see on the Tick. You're watching the Saturday morning cartoons. You get your bowl of cereal in your hand. This is the show that's waking you up on Saturday morning. Get that sugar rush. Start getting hyped. You're not going to find any Earthworm Jim toys in store. I mean, they did have a lineup of toys probably right around the show, but like I said, lasted a year or two. You got maybe a Christmas gift, Earthworm Jim Christmas gift. You opened it up, you played with it, it was done. It was one of those things where the show's out for 2 years, doesn't have much much support after those dying years. Of course, they get a GBA reboot of, or remake, I should say, or port of the SNES those two games. How's he gonna get out of this one? Oh, here we go. Evil the cat resembles a lot like Pinky or Brain. Oh, okay, I'm just drawing the parallels right now. This is Warner Brothers. WB. The same people that made Animaniacs. The same people that work on the DC stuff. The DC animated stuff. It's the same hard-working cast. Those guys put a lot of effort in the animation. They actually do a really good job. Some of the best Saturday morning cartoons come from WB. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. He's got that fur ball that's acidic and just burns through everything. Just got barbecued. Oh, see, I feel like today they wouldn't. No, they would have that in the show today. What am I saying? Did he? He's got claws like Wolverine, right? Just got yanked up. What's gonna happen? Wow, mind blown. That cat just got turned into some sausages. What? Oh, he's going inside the house. He's just getting abused, honestly. I remember, I don't know why, but I remember growing up the cat being more menacing. Who's the creepiest bad guy in Earthworm Jim? Who's actually the strongest bad guy? I feel like the guy with like Psychro is probably number 2, I would say, or number 3. The fish is actually probably no, is he the smartest? I think he is the smartest, but he's in the worst situation because he's in a bowl. So he has the brains, but his body is stupid. I think that's what it is. I could be wrong. Anyways, who's getting... Oh, cat got blasted onto a star. Exploded. A minor setback. I remember that. Each character had their thing. I remember this dog. This dog used to make me nervous. You never knew when he would transform or when he'd get mad. And I used to always think, oh, come on, Jim, don't step on his feet. And then when he would step on his feet, I'd be like, oh, come on, you can bring him back. I'd get so nervous. So I'd be panicking. I'd be 5 years old watching this. Imagine a 5-year-old kid watching this in the 90s. No internet. There's nothing else to do. All your creativity in your mind is, as far as the wackiness gets pushed, this is probably pushing the envelope for a 5-year-old for its time. Even when video games come out. Earthworm Jim, when that video game came out, I just remember it being super wacky and funny. I feel like it's kind of like a Conker's Bad Fur Day for a Super Nintendo game, in the sense that it's not rated R, but it's more, you know what I mean? It's pushing the boundaries a lot of video games. What it's doing for its time is basically stepping outside of the zone of video games and going into the realm of comics, into the realm of cartoons. Imagine if Mario did this early on. Imagine if Mario made a cartoon series earlier on, or they did, right? But what I'm saying is, what if they made one today? What if they made a Super Mario cartoon today the way Disney makes cartoons? I mean, Earthworm Jim was as successful as a cartoon as it was as a video game. Most people would probably disagree. I'm just speculating, but I feel like the video game might have the slight edge, but the TV show, I mean, when you say Earthworm Jim, you should do a poll. Ask people, where do you know Earthworm Jim from? As a video game or as a TV show? Most people will probably say video game, but I feel like the TV show, being that it had more content than the video game, you play the video game, you're done. You're watching the TV show like this. Every episode is giving you a memory. Every episode is giving you something to think about, as far as myself, I'd finish watching an episode of Earthworm Jim or, The Tick, all those great shows, and just find myself drawing after trying to draw some of the things I saw, like these hammers. I'm watching Jim go through these hammers. They're simple hammers, but just the idea of seeing a hammer on a planet like that, put that in your mind. Well, these guys did, and they did a good job. Wow, that looks a lot like Rita from Power Rangers, the bad guy. The helmet. Who's narrating? I feel like the guy who's narrating is probably one of the main character voices as well. I wonder. Psychro's having a hard time. But yeah, by far my favorite voice actor in Earthworm Jim has to be Jim, number one. And then if Rob Paulsen is the dog, I'll take him as well as number two. But Psychro might have the slight edge for number one sometimes. Like when I hear Psychro, whoever's doing Psychro is doing an amazing job. It's got the great 90s bad guy, notorious bad guy voice for a cartoon. That manic laugh. Well, he is a psycho, right? He's a psycho. Imagine you're the voice actor and you get the script for, right now I got a little Earthworm Jim coming up. Here we go. Right now, guys, we return to our story. He's putting her inside that chest, looking inside. I gotta say, Queen, what's her name? Not bad. You got Earthworm Jim, the most hideous. Well, who would want to kiss a worm, right? And then you got Queen, what's her name? They name her Queen, what's her name? They don't even give her a freaking name. She's literally generic. They give her the hot princess look. She needs rescuing. And Jim, not the generic superhero, but his body is. It's like the perfect mixture. It's the weakest form, the weakest entity on the planet, which is probably a worm, right? They get eaten by everything. They're not menacing to nobody, except for maybe small microbes, but that's it. And you give him a spacesuit, whom anybody can be in the spacesuit. It's kind of like the Mask. When the Mask puts his mask, he gets those powers. When other people use it, I feel like anybody can just use the suit. I think in other episodes, I think the fish gets a hold of the suit, if I'm not mistaken. It's worth a look. And, oh my God, why am I not thinking about Ace Ventura, the animated series? Another great show. Just when I hear Dan Castellaneta and then I hear the voice actor for Ace Ventura. I forget his name. Damn. But anyways, they're just having a great time. Oh, now he's got... What's his power? Oh, God, when I see these sidekicks, I just think of the Tick. Oh, every time. He just needs to be a little bit bigger, a little bit more Tick-esque looking, but just any character with opening his eyelids. You can have a top 10 island of misfit characters. Put him there with, put that sidekick along with some of the other sidekicks from the Tick, along with a bunch of other miscellaneous weird one-episode characters from any TV show, any cartoon. Make a top 10, make a top 100. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of them. Certain characters that you've seen or you remember that you never see again. You only see in one episode, and then all of a sudden they're gone. But every so often you get a little recollection from another TV series you're watching, and it just sparks your memory, and you start remembering all these characters. He's got the cool, as far as coolest gun ever, Earthworm Jim has it going. He's got the generic space gun for the 90s. When I see that gun, I think immediately of Blasto, the PlayStation 1 game. Just walk around. Simple game. I mean, it's probably not very good on the charts as far as a PlayStation game, but I don't know. Something about it, walking around as Blasto. You're walking around, you're shooting. It feels good, blasting stuff. It feels kind of open world and simple. You're going around. But for an 8-year-old, for a 7, 8-year-old playing that game in the 90s, it doesn't get better. Oh, just had a flashback. You remember in the game, Super Nintendo game, he's basically got like 1,000 shots, 1,000 rounds, and you're just blasting. And you don't see the bullets flying. All you see are the hits that the enemies are taking. And I don't know if that was the first of its kind to do that for a video game, but definitely marks a good spot in the game. Just when you that satisfaction of just shooting 1,000 rounds into the enemy, the fact they were able to do that and pull that off on the Super Nintendo and make it look and feel that way, I mean, I don't know if there's any other Super Nintendo game like that where you're firing and you get that kind of feel. On the breakfast menu, Earthworm Jim cereal coming next week. Oh, okay, so then he's gonna piss off the puppy. If that's my, it's pretty obvious. Obviously, it's called Sidekick. They're gonna play. They're gonna show how Peter Puppy gets into the group. Here he goes. Here he goes. Beast mode activate. Wow, pretty epic. When I see Peter fighting like that, it just reminds me of Street Sharks. Street Sharks ripping through the streets, causing causing more damage than good. When they rip through the streets like that, fucking shit up. Whose leg is that? Is that Jim's? Oh, that's right. Jim has a super suit. He's got the Hulk feature. He's come to rescue the princess. She's not going to be in there, is she? That's right. Jim, you dummert. Cool character. Queen, what's her name? Actually, a really cool character. She's a bee. You don't you don't hear much of her in the movie, and in the game you don't see her very much. Yeah, I think she's probably at the end. When you rescue her. But there's the cow. Does every episode have a cow falling, or maybe just the first episode? Hmm. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But that was it, guys. That was the end of the episode. We just finished Earthworm Jim, Sidekicked. So let me know what you guys thought of the episode. I'm just going to give a brief summary of what I thought. I thought it was cool. I thought it started it off. If you're thinking about it coming out after the video game, they're going to show them all the characters. They had the cow launch at the end. I mean, they put pretty much everything that was in the game. All in one episode. They literally showed every single villain, every single bad guy. I'm assuming there might be a few that get introduced later on. But yeah, first episode, so Sidekicked. No need for a pilot. They're just going to jump right into it. They probably already had this planned out. They said, when the first game hit, and people probably came at them and said, listen, we need a TV show made. We need something. And just the fact that they knew it would work. They made 2 seasons. All they could have probably made a third. If they made a third, I think this show would have more of a legacy. I think this show is tied more like a video game show, like the Nintendo Mario show is. Even though Mario show had multiple seasons, it's Mario. Everybody knows Mario. But Earthworm Jim is, it's almost like a cult classic. People who know the game, they're gonna know the show. And if you haven't played the game and you do know the show, well, by all means try both, vice versa. It's definitely worth a watch. I remember coming home from high school for lunch, just coming home early from school in general, just going to YouTube, and YouTube had all the episodes. You could just watch them right on there. And I just remember using up so much data. You didn't have much data back then, but just using so much data and just watching the entire first season of Earthworm Jim, getting so into it, starting to draw the character, getting, was trying to be in the zone, that Earthworm Jim zone, and trying to see what else that was out there for it. I remember getting a Game Boy Advance game. I honestly thought the PlayStation, the PSP game came out. It never did. It got canceled. And then there's the N64 game. I can't forget that one. But that one just has no radar. I've probably never known any friend, maybe one friend who might have had it, but I think it had a yellow cartridge, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the Earthworm Jim game for the N64, I have played it now, and I didn't beat it, but I have played it, and I gotta say it's pretty good. It is okay. It is okay. People give it a hard time. I wouldn't give it such a hard time. It's actually playable. The levels are maybe not as challenging or not as but you think about it. You're running around as Jim. You're not gonna get that anywhere else. So take what you got and have fun with it. It kind of feels like a Conker's Bad Fur Day, Banjo-Kazooie-esque Obviously not in the same realm, but it's got that feel to it, right? Kind of, they give you that open world, as open world as you can get for an N64 game. So that's it, folks. So that was it. That was episode 1, season 1 of Earthworm Jim. Check out some of the Christmas specials we just did. We're going to, I don't know if I'm going to do any more Christmas specials. I'm just going to go with the flow, see how things play out. Tonight just felt like watching Earthworm Jim, a good Friday night. New Year's is coming up. Might do a New Year's special, just before countdown. Watch a little cartoon and see how I'm feeling in the mood. And maybe just chat it up and see what's going on for next year, what the plans are, the world of cartoons, and go from there. So thanks for tuning along, everybody, and take care and have a good night. We'll be chatting soon. Bye-bye now.
You just listened to a Toon Along Podcast. If you like what you heard or have any comments or feedback, don't hesitate to check out more on iTunes, Spotify, and TuneIn Radio, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube for more info. I'll see you next time. Ciao!